Hi there, this is Catherine with Enfolded Heart Music. Welcome back to the walkthrough tutorial for the song Veil of Mist. If you are watching this video first, know that this is the second part, so go ahead and watch the first part first. It goes through part A or section A of the piece. Again, if this is your first time watching this sort of video, this is a walkthrough tutorial where I will go note by note through the piece. It's intended to help you learn the piece and especially to help you with any rhythms that are a little bit tricky or particular notes that are a little bit tricky. All right, today we are going to be looking at part B, and depending on how long that takes, we'll then look at part C. And just as a little bit of a reminder, part B repeats as well. So does part C, actually. We did part A last time, and that repeats by far the most. That repeats a total of 4 times, whereas part B and part C, they repeat twice. So just a little bit of context for you. Okay, so let me just tell you the measure numbers that we're looking at, and then I will change the camera so that you can see the lyre with hopefully some clarity, and then we'll jump into the particular notes that we're going to be looking at today. Okay. Yeah, looking at it again, I think we'll be able to get through part C, but anyways, be careful what I say. All right, so last time we looked at part A, which went from measures 1 through 8 and then repeats again a little bit later. Part B will begin at measure 9 and go through measure 17. If you take a look at the general flow of the piece, you'll notice that we'll have part A. Starting from the beginning of the piece, we'll have part A, then part B, and then it returns again to part A. This is always a really helpful quality when this happens, because that means that you can then practice A, B, A, B, A, B, and go back and forth, and you'll be practicing the transitions that you'll need, and kind of be able to just get really comfortable transitioning and flowing back from one part or one section to the other. Okay, so again, part B goes from measures 9 through 17. It also then comes back again in measures 64 through 71. Okay. So let us pause and let me zoom in, change the camera a little bit so you can see, and we will get into part B. Okay, let's get into part B now. Part A and part B sort of come together, or they sort of hand off one from the other in measure 8. So we ended part A in measure 8 with this B right here in the right hand. Okay, and part B begins really in the last 2 beats of the measure, the second half of beat 3 and the final beat of the measure, which is beat 4. We're going to take this in basically, at least at first, 3 measures at a time. I'll do right hand and left hand, we'll put them together. All right, so looking at, again, the second half of measure 8, remember that we're in swing time. We've got 8th notes right here. So we ended on a half note here with the right hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So a half note, then we have a 8th rest, followed by 3 8th notes, and this is going to be B, D, F, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish this phrase. It's a little run, and the end of that phrase, it's the beginning of measure 9. It's a quarter note in measure 9, and that is our B up here. This is where the flute comes in, right on that B. All right, so this is measure 8, basically, with the right hand plus that first note in measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. One more time. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay. Then looking in measure 9, we have, again, starting with this quarter note, which is the B. On the second beat, we have a triplet, and but the first, it's a triplet with eighth notes in it, but we have the first of the 3 eighth notes as a rest. Okay, those 2 notes are going to be A, B, and then I'm going to finish off this measure because it's a little bit awkward to subdivide it quite so small. So we'll have A, B, up to C. This is a quarter note on the 3rd beat, and then a quarter note ending on the 4th beat, back to B. So again, we finish the phrase up on this B. We have a moment of rest, then we have A, B, C, B. So here's how this sounds rhythmically. I'm a start with the 8th notes at the end of measure 8, because they're essentially pickup notes to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we'll finish this first phrase essentially in measure 10. We've got a few little chords here, just thirds. So let me name those chords and then we'll talk about rhythm. So first we have F and A. Then we drop that down 1 string to have B and G. 1 more string to have D and F. And then we have an 8th rest and ending on our B again. This B right here at the end is again kind of a pickup note to measure 11. But I think we'll add it in there for right now. Okay. So here's how those chords will sound so you can make sure you got the right notes, and then we'll talk about rhythm. Okay, rhythmically we have a dotted quarter note, so we've got 1.5 beats right here. Then we have an 8th note on the next chord. Then the 3rd beat is just a quarter note. Then we have an 8th rest ending on the and of 4 on that B. So here's how this is it. This is it rhythmically. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Sorry, I wasn't ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and let me put the right hand together. It'll make a little bit more sense coming all together. So we're going to do everything we've done so far, starting with the pickups to 9, which is the end of 8, through measure 10. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, again, I'm gonna tap on my leg. I don't know, I'm moving my lyre a lot, which makes it kind of hard. Let's try that again. I need more stability with the lyre. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. All right. Okay, so that's the right hand for that spot. Let's look at the left hand before we add anything else with the right hand. Okay, and I'm sorry, let me back up. Let's do a tiny bit of fingering for this. So with that first run, you'll need to use all 4 of your fingers. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we'll have to switch up using your 1, 2, 3. And then for the chords, I usually just use 1 and 3 for all of these. That's 1 and 2 is also just fine, I think. I think using a 4 and 2 is a little bit too awkward. but you might find something that works a little bit better for you. But definitely at the beginning, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, and then shifting that whole hand up. All right. Left hand. Let's look at left hand. So we're actually going to start the left hand just in measure 9 because we've already talked about measure 8 in the previous video. So let's do notes first, and then we'll talk about rhythm. So the notes here in the left hand, we'll also need to use our 1, 2, 3, and 4. For this, we've got G, B, D, and G. Okay. Then we shift our hand up one string to have A, C, and E. Rhythmically, we have a triplet followed by a quarter note, triplet 2. Then we have on the third beat 2 eighth notes, which are swung, and then quarter note on that E. So here's that left hand. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. And then the second measure, which will finish off our section with the left hand, we'll go to our lowest note, F. Ooh, excuse me. Here we go. Then we'll have A and C. We have F as a quarter note, A as a half note, and C as a quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's do both of these measures together, left hand only. Starting on that G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do it again without counting so that I can make sure you're really able to hear the notes and the rhythms on the lyre. I'll count off, but then I'll stop counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me get a sip of coffee really quick. Ugh. Okay. Give yourself a moment to get both of those really confident. Let's put this over here. Okay. And then when you're ready, let's put hands together. Nice and slow. I would not do all 3 measures. I do just little bits at a time. As I've said many times before, please go as slow as you need to go. It's better to do small chunks and go really slowly so that you're really educating your hands on what you want them to do rather than trying to do too much or too fast and it creating really kind of confusion, and you end up practicing the wrong thing, which makes it even harder to correct in the future. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with those pickup notes. And we'll play these two measures. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. I'm going to play measure 8 in its fullness so you can hear how the transition between the 2 sections sounds before we move forward in part B. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, so now let's look at, let me see. Great, let's actually just do basically a measure and a half, because then after that, we have a repetition of what we just did. Almost exactly, there's a little bit that's different, but it's almost exactly the same. And then we have a last final piece of part B, and then we will go to C, because I don't think this has taken that long. Okay, so looking at measures 11 and the first part of 12. Let's look at the right hand. We've got another chord. Again, we have in this B in measure 10, that last beat, it's a pickup to this chord in measure 11. So the notes of this chord are going to be D, F, and B. Now this is fingering and technicality wise, this is one of the tougher little spots of the piece, because in order to get this, you need to be using all of your fingers. So you'll use your 1 for the B, and then you'll need to already have set your 2, 3, and 4 on those chords. So perhaps practice that chord first, and then add in the B. And what's most challenging probably is that you'll need to place all of your fingers quite quickly, because you'll be moving from so they all need to be set, you know, really rather quickly. So you need to have a little bit of muscle memory there to know where to place it, especially the distance between the 3 and the 4, I think, because that's a fourth rather than a third. You might more naturally be inclined to go to a third. So anyways, just a little bit of a note there that if you're finding that difficult, it is one of the more challenging parts of the piece. But just with a little bit of practice, I think you'll be able to get it, no problem. Okay, so that chord right here is a quarter note. Then we have the same kind of movement and actually the same notes that we had in measure 9, where we have a triplet. The first triplet being a rest, but then we have A, B. Then we have our quarter note on C. This is exactly the same as what we did a moment ago. And then the last quarter note on the 4th beat, that's a little bit different. That's going to be F and A. Excuse me. There we go. So F and A. We're going to finish off the phrase here by venturing into measure 12. It's a half note, and we just move that chord, that third, up 1 string. We've got B and D. I'm sorry, that was not right. G and B. G and B. Those are those 2 chords. So here are just the notes for this. All right. Here's how it sounds with the right rhythm. I am going to include that pickup note because this is how you'll hear it in the song, and I think it's just helpful to include that in at this point. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2. Last time without me counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Left hand now, in this measure and a half or so. We had ended with our placement on a F sharp, A and C sharp, F, A, C. Okay. We're going to move up 1 string for this next one, where we'll have G, B, D, G, B, D. And just to look ahead for a moment, we will then move up 1 more string to have our A, C, E. That's the beginning of measure 12. Okay. So looking at rhythms, this is a rhythm that's sort of easier in the context of the right hand than by itself, but it's still worth making a note of on its own. We have a quarter note for the G. We have a dotted quarter note for the B, and a dotted quarter note for the D. Okay, then we just have a normal thing in measure 12 where we have quarter, 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 there it is, and then a half note. Okay. So this means that in measure 11, we have our G on the 1 beat, our B on the 2 beat, but then our D on the and of the 3 beat. Okay? So here's how this will sound. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sorry, my snapping got a little bit inconsistent. Okay, let's do that one more time. I won't count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, now let's add the right hand in there. See how this sounds in context. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Tried to play the left hand a little bit louder in those so that you can hear, especially where that third note comes in measure 12. Oh, excuse me, measure 11. Measure 11. Okay, let's do what we've got so far. So pick up to measure 9, 9, 10, 11, and then the beginning of 12. 1 and 2 and 3. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3. I am playing a little bit louder than I probably normally would, so it's going to be a little bit mushier because it's ringing out more, a little bit punchier, but I want you to be able to hear all the notes. Then later you can add in, your own sort of interpretation of it and, the more musical part of it in regards to touch and sound. But right now we're just focusing on notes and rhythms, and the rest is for your own enjoyment and fun. Okay, let me pause for a second. Okay, looking at measures, the next measure, so it's the end of 12. I'll just call that the pickups to 13. 13 is exactly the same as 9. Okay, so we have this guy in the right hand. Okay, the left hand is exactly the same. Everything's the same in that measure. So we're actually going to bump over to measure 14. Both hands are slightly different than they were before, the left hand more so than the right hand. Okay. So in measure 14, we've got chords again, but they're going to go the opposite direction, whereas before they went down. Let me do it again. This time, the rhythm is different, and they're going to go up instead. So we do start on the same one. We have F and A. But now we go up to G and B, and end on A and C. There, it's just 2 quarter notes, and then a half note. So here's the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and easy. The left hand is a little bit more active here, and it's definitely more active than it was in its kind of counterpart in measure 10. All right, we do go back down to, I don't need that, 4, to our F. So we have F, A, C. And then we move up one string, we add our forefinger up top so that we can get our, we move up 2 strings, my apologies. So that we can get up to the A. So we have A, C, E, and A. So these are the different notes. Okay. Rhythmically, we've got 2 8th notes, quarter note, and then the rest is 8th notes. But again, those are swung. So here's how that's going to sound. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay. So let's put those together just in that measure. So measure 14. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... One more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Okay. Now we want to put everything we have together. And we'll just play it once because we're really close, actually, to ending part B. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then... Okay, we then have kind of the last run, which is kind of the most fun part, actually, of, for me, of kind of the whole song, but I don't know, that's a close call. But it's certainly of this section. It's a bit of a fast finger movement section. And so we've got measures 15 and 16. We're going to do these together because it's all one kind of run here. Okay. We, strange noise outside. Okay. We've got a bunch of triplets in measure 15 in the right hand. We're just looking at the right hand. And then we go into something slightly different in measure 16. So the first beat is a rest. And then we have 3 groups of triplets on the second, third, and fourth beat of the measure. The first grouping of triplets has a rest in the very first sort of slot there. And then it's just all triplets after that. Okay, so note-wise, we've got B, A, G, F, E, D, C, D. Okay, let me double check the fingering real quick. Okay. Yeah, okay. So fingering wise, this is sort of one of the tricky ones. It's what part of what that Lyre Foundations exercises is prepping you for, is this sort of stuff. So we're going to start with our 3. We'll have 3, 2. We'll do a crossover with your 3 then on the F. Then continuing just as before, 2, 1. Then we'll do like a momentary crossover where we use our 2 for C, but don't come too far off and don't move the thumb off of the D because we need to come back to that. So we'll have D with the 1, C with the 2, and then D again with the 1. Okay. Yeah. So let me do that. Okay, here's, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna break it up into two. That may not be a good idea, but we'll break it up into two and then we'll quickly combine it with 16 because it's, again, it's all one run. So here's how the right hand sounds with the right rhythm, measure 15 only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. Another optional fingering if you want would, everything at the beginning is the same. You know what? No, that's not going to work. No, never mind. Okay, so measure 16. We've just come off of our D, C, D. And we're going to be playing as eighth notes now. We're stopping the triplet thing and we're going to eighth notes swung, E and F. Okay. Then we have an eighth rest, followed by C, which is an eighth note, and then a half note of B. So here are the notes of the whole run. Okay, now the rhythm is a different story. Let's do the rhythm for measure 16. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's put those together. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2. One more time so you can hear that nice and clear. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2. Okay. Again, practice that run real slow, nice and easy, so you can get real smooth on that, and it ends up being really fun instead of something that's kind of a roadblock for you. Okay, let's look at the left hand. The left hand in measure 15 is super simple. It is just a whole note. And it's kind of the ending phrase of what we ended with in the previous measure. We come back down to the A we started on. So this whole note in measure 15 is an A. So here's measure 14 and 15. Let's do that right here. One more time. One more time. Okay. Then we just have a couple quarter notes in measure 16 with the left hand. We have a rest on the first beat, a quarter rest. Then we'll have E, B, and D, all quarter notes. Okay. So here's those two measures with the left hand only. 15 and 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's put these together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. If you want in the left hand, you can add the first note of the next measure. It's kind of the end of that phrase. It's an F. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It'll make it a little bit more complete. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, and that is the end of part B. So let's do the whole part B, and then we'll take a moment of break, and then I'll start in on part C. See how long part C is. Let me remind myself. Okay. All right, part B. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, we're going to pause there with one small addition. So I said that part A comes right after part B. That is true. There's one little sort of bridge, you might say, between parts B and A, and this is very simply a little run in the right hand. We have anticipating part A, so we have the same notes actually. We have F, D, and B. But instead of triplets, we've got eighth notes. Now, measure 17 changes time signatures. We go to 2-4 for just that measure and then go back. Okay, so we have a rest on the first half of the first beat. Then we come in with, so it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So let me just play that with a moment of going into part A so you can hear that transition. I'm going to start at the end of B and go into just a moment of A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. So that's how that transition goes. Okay, now we're going to take a break. We're going to come back for part C. All right, we're looking at part C now. And this is a little bit of a calmer section, I suppose you could say. There's a little bit notes that have longer duration. Gives you a moment to catch your breath with this very active piece. All right, we're going to take it in basically 2 chunks because of some of the repetition in here. So we're starting at measure 26. That's where it starts. We do have one little pickup note. It's a quarter note. It's that B again. We're obviously in B minor, so B is kind of our home base. And so keeping that in mind, that we've got a B leading into the C, to the C sharp. C. This is a half note. We then have on our third and fourth beat, our third beat, we have a triplet with the first beat being a rest. And those notes are B and C. We then have 2 more notes. These are eighth notes on D and E. The phrase then ends in the next measure, which is measure, what is that, 24, 25, 26, 27, with a dotted half note on F sharp. So these are the notes. With the pickup note, we have pickup, okay. Suggested fingering for this is to have your 1 on the B. Keep your hand in that position to go up to C, because you need to go right back down to B. And I actually would play the B, C, and D with 1, 2, 3. And then I personally, because it's in swing, you have a moment more to move your hand up. I would then put your 1 on the E to have your 2 on the F. The reason for this is twofold. One, I just find that the easiest way to do that. The other reason is because we have a very similar run in a few measures, and instead of going to the F, we go up to a G. It'll go, oops. And so that way you can use the same fingerings, the same movement that you'll be practicing in one with the other as well. Rather than trying to do a big crossover thing, this is personally how I do it. So just so you have an idea of how to get to that top F, which you won't be able to get to unless you move your hand at some point. Okay. All right, so I actually already did the rhythm, but let's listen to this, how this goes. This is with the pickup note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to keep going for just a moment longer in measure 27, which we've already played most of the measure actually with this dotted half note on the F. We then go into measure 28 with the same sort of lead as we did a moment ago with that pickup note on B. This is a quarter note. So now we're into measure 28. And we do the same rhythm, actually, the exact same rhythm. We just basically go in the opposite direction. So we'll have leading into 28 B, then go to C for the half note. And then our triplets and our eighth notes, again, we have that rest on the first triplet. And you will need to, well, you will not need to move your hand, pardon me. You'll use your 4 to get this E. So we've got B, C. We've already talked about that. Now we've got E, D, C, and B. So here's this second phrase that we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm playing that second B is measure 29. Again, it's really the same type of thing as we have the first round. So let me put these two together just so you can get some clarity of how these go together. Here we go. Starting pick up to measure 26. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay. We're going to pause there because then we go into a little bit of a repetition. And we don't want to quite finish that off yet. So let's look at the left hand first. Pretty simple left hand. We've got our A position, A, C, E. And we've just got quarter note, half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next measure, measure 27, we do the same thing. We just move it up one string so that we have our B, D, F. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we move back down to our A position. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish it off doing the exact same thing, moving back up to the B. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is measures 26, 27, 28, and 29 left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's put those hands together before we move any farther. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, moving ahead. We are now in measure, the end of, basically the pickup to measure 30. And you'll see that measure 30 is exactly the same as measure 26. So just as a reminder, this is how this goes. Ah, wrong spot, sorry. Okay. So this is what I was referring to earlier, where you have to go up to that G. So in measure 31, yep, that's measure 31, we have an eighth note on G, then dotted half note on F. The final eighth note, the final half of a beat that we're missing there, we're going to leave for a second because it's part of the next measure. Okay, so let me play this again. I've actually already played it several times now, but here's the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the left hand is really similar. We just add one extra note, basically. So in our measure 31, before we had just on our B position, we have B, D, F. Before we had done quarter, quarter, half. Now we're just going to add one more quarter note, and that's going to be a D. Quarter, 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 quarter. B, D, F, D. So let's do these two measures together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's put this together before we move forward. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we got to finish it off. This is where we have something a little different before ending section C. All right. So in the right hand, in measure 32, we have our pickup note on A. Then the notes are going to be G, F, E, D, E, F. Okay. The rhythm for this, we've got 2 quarter notes, and then the rest are swung eighth notes. Oh, excuse me. So here's how this will sound in the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fingering for this, I use a 3 on the A, 3, 2, 1, and then switch over to a 2 as I play the E, and then just 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Let's finish this off, okay? So the right hand then finishes the phrase nice and easy. We have 2 half notes, and then in the next measure, measure 34, we have a whole note. So the 2 half notes are B and C, and then we end on D. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's add that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, looking at the left hand now for measures 32, 33, 34. We've got our A position, A, C, E, A, C, E. Then move up to the B, D, F. And then ending on B. So we've got dotted quarter note, regular chord note, then quarter, half, quarter, whole. So here's those three measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one more time with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's do hands together on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, and then we'll do all the parts. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's do all of part C now. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that is the end of part C. Let me adjust the camera and then just a few comments to end us up. Okay, so at this point, you should be able to play, once you've completed all of this, of course, you should then be able to play from the very beginning all the way through until measure 34. So this would be part A, part B, A, and then C. Next time, we'll come back and we'll look at, let's see, we've got then part D. Let me look at my notes again. D, which then goes back to A after that. And then it goes to part E before returning to part B, C, and then A one more time. So we'll do D and E next time. Let's see, that'll be 1, 2, 3. And maybe put it all together in that one. So it may be only 3 sections. We'll see. We'll see how many parts we're going to do for this one. But anyways, so hopefully part B and C are coming along nicely for you. Again, take your time. If you have any questions or there's anything that wasn't quite clear in the way I was playing it or counting it or anything like that, please let me know. I'll be happy to help as best as I can. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope it's a good challenge for you. If it's something that you're learning that's maybe a more difficult piece, and if not, I hope it's just a great and fun piece for you. So, anyways, thank you so much, and God bless you, and may the peace of Christ be with you. Thanks again.